Jet injectors have been added to the game. They are a side grade to syringes and a round star tool. There's a non-round star version, the advanced jet injector, which has slightly faster injection and a little bit more capacity. You can get injectors and nanomed pluses, and there's one in a medical doctor's locker. The only real thing that needs to be explained with the jet injector is it has this new mode called dynamic. Dynamic means that if you try to click on somebody, it will only try to inject, but if you click on a jug, it will try to withdraw. And if I click it again and max it out, normally the syringe would swap from it would swap to inject instead of withdrawing, so you could accidentally inject something into the wrong container, but that is no longer the case with the dynamic mode. It just says too full to draw. Of course, you could press Alt-Z or just right-click it to swap to inject, and it will inject the whole content no matter what. So for example, if I only have 5 units, it will inject 5 units. If I have 15 units, one click will inject all 15. So you have to be a little bit careful with your overdose limits here, because if you accidentally have 15 units on a 10 unit medicine, you can overdose somebody like that. But unlike the syringe, you cannot like change your increments, so that's another reason why it's a side grade. However, though, with very fast treatment, the jet injector is technically slightly better and a little bit more convenient because you don't have to do as many hotkeys to swap back and forth. The main reason for it is for convenience, and it's just an easier to handle tool than the syringe. But if you ever need to draw liquids off the ground or take blood from somebody, you must use a syringe. And to segue into this, Hypo sprays and jet sprays can now have their contents spilled. You just do it like normal, right click it, and then do spill liquid. So it does not require a empty container or some form of container to get rid of these contents now. So if you accidentally draw the wrong thing and you don't know like what it was, or you don't even know what's in it, you can spill it. When you examine shields now, it'll tell you the durability of the shields. So if I sit here and just hit a shield, why does that look so weird? What the heck? Either way, so if like I examine this now, it has a few small holes and divots. So when you go to repair a shield or something, which you can do that now, that's part of the PR, you can incrementally repair parts of the shield with a welder. It takes a decent bit of fuel to repair even a small amount of damage. You can't repair things like energy shields or like wooden bucklers, but most of the security, I think all the security shields actually can be repaired, so that's going to be the ones that you're going to be able to repair anyway. The telescopic shield is going to be the one that benefits the most from this because it has the most health of the repairable shields, but this is great for buffing shields and increasing their longevity, and you don't have to gamble if your shield has one bullet left in it or if it's full health if you just don't know if you picked it off the ground or something. There's a lot of things in this one PR, but they're all related to hypo sprays, hypo pens, injectors in general. So now hypo sprays and hypo pens also have dynamic, so it's the same as inject draw from like the previous iteration, but it's now following the same standards. Injectors now inject twice as fast into targets that are lying down for any reason. I actually thought it was already faster when they were lying down. Maybe the jet injector was specifically the issue. It says only critical patients had this luxury. I guess it was maybe only slightly faster, not twice as fast. Either way, that's a buff to injections. If you're clumsy, it now affects injecting. Medical cyborg hypo sprays now have more fill sprites. Their Gorlax hypo spray also now has fill sprites as well. And blue spray syringes actually got a buff. They're now slightly faster in injecting large amounts. So the blue spray syringe specifically gets a larger buff as well. So just a general quality of life, balance pass, and art pass over injectors. That's the easiest way to describe this PR. Syndicate bomb now has the same timer as a decoy syndicate bomb. So now if you see a decoy syndicate bomb in the first, 25-30 minutes of a round, you can no longer just meta game or have meta knowledge that it's always going to be a decoy because it was unpurchasable. So now it's fair game. Once one of these bombs can be planted, it could be either or. Voice masks have been buffed in words, otherwise they'd be given extra functionality. Voice masks now let you actually toggle it off and on with the implanter, and you can now actually even use it to block your accent or not. So if you're a character who has like a stutter or something and trying to mimic somebody who doesn't have a stutter, you probably don't want to be stuttering on your voice mask because the more acute will be aware of these traits. Either way, very nice to see, and this applies for normal voice masks as well if you manage to get your hands on one of those somehow. The IFF computer now just has show IFF on or off now, so it's all merged into one, and the Syndicate IFF also automatically comes off. So this is just a nice, easier to simplify the IFF. I mean, I didn't think two controls were all that complicated before, but now they're all combined into one. Either you're visible or you ain't. There are now secure Syndicate crates and like even things like blood red wall lockers that require having Syndicate access to open. These are right now I don't think used anywhere in the game, but expect to see them used in mapping, probably like the Nuki Planet and stuff. We're going to end up getting these. You can now craft a small cardboard box that is a 2x2 instead of the large cardboard box. This just lets you have, or it's just called cardboard box. So it only costs 1 cardboard. Maybe I should actually finish crafting it to showcase this off. So it's just a 2x2 box. This isn't like rocket science. So 2x2 fits in your bag. It's a 2x2 in there as well. So you can use it to store little presents, gifts, whatever you want to fit in a 2x2 box. The Chemmaster has received an awesome quality of life improvement. Now when you're going to output something, say like pills or bottles, you now can actually choose if you want the buffer to be used from the Chemmaster's buffer or from the beaker you currently have into it. So no longer do you have to have a Chemmaster separated for this type of thing. You can make whatever you want. So if I want to specifically make a beaker of my Eryth, I can do that. So I could create 2 pills of my Eryth. Obviously I didn't label them, and you can see the input was used correctly. And just to double showcase this, we'll use it from the buffer, create some pills. Well, I guess I don't have enough pills in there. Hold on. I know what I'm doing. I'm a space station expert. All right, hold on. There we go. They have the buffer, create the pills. Look at that. Uses the buffer. Very cool. Every chemist will love that one. That's all I got to cover for this update cycle. There was, of course, other great bug fixes and stuff that I don't cover. No, I never really cover those. Good artwork, good balance patches, all that good stuff. You know how it is by now. This is the 100th billionth video I've done. Thank our maintainers and contributors, and thank you for watching.